FIFA's official partner for this year's World Cup is the largest oil company on the planet, and FIFA wants you to believe this tournament is part of their plan to fight climate change. Here is what they are not telling you. This summer's tournament will generate roughly the same carbon footprint as 6.5 million cars being driven for an entire year. FIFA knew that number before a single ball was kicked. They built the tournament that way on purpose, and this is not the first time they have lied about it. In 2023, a Swiss regulator caught FIFA making false claims about the last World Cup's environmental impact and ruled against them. 4 years later, instead of fixing the problem, FIFA made it almost twice as bad and signed a deal with an oil company to help pay for it. In this video, I'm going to show you the number that proves it, the decision that caused it, and the one sponsorship deal that makes FIFA's entire climate strategy look like a cover story. Let's start with what FIFA already got caught lying about. Ahead of Qatar 2022, FIFA told the world that the tournament would be the first fully carbon-neutral World Cup in history. 5 European nations did not buy it and filed formal complaints. The Swiss Fairness Commission investigated and sided with every single one of them. FIFA's claim was not optimistic marketing. It was found to be false by a regulator on the record. That is the organization you are dealing with. Now here's what they are doing with that same credibility in 2026. Scientists for Global Responsibility, working alongside the Environmental Defense Fund and the Sport for Climate Action Network, calculated the greenhouse gas emissions this tournament will actually produce. Their number, at least 9 million tons of carbon dioxide equivalent. 9 million tons. Almost double the average of the previous 4 World Cups combined, and significantly more than Qatar 2022's own footprint of around 5.25 million tons. The lead author of the report, Dr. Stuart Parkinson, didn't soften it. This is set to be the most climate-damaging World Cup in the tournament's history, and this wasn't an accident. It was the predictable result of one decision FIFA made deliberately. FIFA expanded the World Cup from 32 teams to 48, a 50% jump in participating nations. That single decision added 40 extra matches and spread the tournament across 3 countries instead of 1. More teams, more matches, more cities means dramatically more flights. Researchers estimate air travel emissions alone will rise between 160 and 325% compared to previous tournaments, specifically because of this expansion. FIFA didn't stumble into being the most polluting World Cup ever. They engineered it. 48 teams means 48 broadcast deals, more sponsorship inventory, more advertising slots, more total revenue. The same logic you've already seen on this channel applied to ticket prices and ad breaks. More matches sold is more football, when it's really just more product to sell. Now here's the detail that turns bad planning into something closer to satire. FIFA's exclusive energy partner for this tournament, under a 4-year deal signed in 2024, is Saudi Aramco, the single largest oil company on Earth. Researchers calculate that the FIFA Aramco sponsorship alone will induce an additional 30 million tons of carbon dioxide equivalent through the increased fossil fuel sales the partnership's marketing reach will drive. 30 million tons, more than 3 times the entire direct footprint of the tournament itself. FIFA's own climate strategy, published in 2021, commits to cutting their emissions by 50% by 2030 and reaching net zero by 2040. While making that promise publicly, they signed a multi-year deal with the world's largest oil producer to be the official energy partner of their biggest event on the planet. You cannot watch a single match this summer without Aramco's name appearing on your screen. That's not a coincidence. That's a contract working exactly as designed. And remember, this is the same organization a regulator already found guilty of lying about exactly this. They said Qatar would be carbon neutral. It wasn't, and they got caught. 4 years later, their response wasn't caution, it was expansion, more emissions, and an oil company helping foot the bill. The researchers behind this report told FIFA precisely what would fix it. End sponsorship deals with companies like Aramco. Put a binding cap on how large these tournaments are allowed to grow. 2 changes, both entirely inside FIFA's control. FIFA has done neither. Instead, their public messaging talks about sustainable stadium construction and reducing waste, all of which might be true in some small operational sense. none of which touches the actual source of the emissions, which is the structure of the tournament itself. You could recycle every water bottle in every stadium across North America, and it would not move the needle on 9 million tons of carbon dioxide. The waste bins were never the problem. The business model is the problem. This is the same pattern this channel keeps uncovering. FIFA makes a public promise that sounds responsible. FIFA signs a private deal that makes the promise impossible to keep. By the time anyone can prove the gap between the two, the tournament is already running and the money has already moved. They said Qatar would be carbon neutral. It wasn't, and regulators proved it. They said this tournament would learn from that. Instead, it is nearly double the pollution, sponsored in part by a 4-year deal with the largest oil company on the planet. The 2026 World Cup is already breaking attendance records, breaking ticket price records, and now breaking emissions records too. Subscribe. There are more stories like this one, and they keep coming.